20 days into the 7th month, the year 2022, and the countdown to the August polls continues. Tonight, we got details about what was shaping the campaign trail in the country. Azimio la Umoja promising to address the water shortage in Turkana County, as Deputy President William Ruto leads the Kenya Kwanza Alliance in asking public servants to keep off succession politics. Plus, the big news of the day, cheap ugali for you. Each and every Kenyan. President Uhuru Kenyatta today made that big announcement that the government is going to subsidize the price of maize flour. And now you can be able to purchase a 2 kilograms packet of maize flour for only 100 shillings. We'll be letting you in on this big news, plus others contained in our comprehensive news bulletin that begins right now. But first, the top stories.
Maize flour shall retail across the entire territory of the Republic of Kenya at the price of Kenya shillings 100, down from Kenya shillings 205 for a 2 kg packet until otherwise directed.
Ugali relief. Government lowers the cost of maize flour to 100 shillings for a 2 kilograms packet. Security on high alert. Security heightened at the coast region to thwart plans by politicians to fund violence. In search of votes, Kenya Kwanza tours Makueni and Taita Taveta as Azimio campaigns in Turkana County. Once again, welcome to the bulletin. Byron Abuli is our sign language interpreter tonight. My name is Serfine Achieng. John Jacob Kire is away tonight. He was on the campaign trail following the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. A great report lined up for you later in the bulletin. Betty Kiptum, of course, I beg your pardon, will be joining us for the latest in the world of business, and Karen Kibet with sports a little bit later. But now let's begin straight away. The price of a 2 kilo packet of maize flour will now retail at 100 shillings after the government announced that it will subsidize 105 shillings for each packet. President Uhuru Kenyatta said the new measure is meant to lower the cost of living, especially for vulnerable households, as the government explores sustainable solutions for unga price increase during the election years. Caroline Jenga with details of this report.
After 5 days of negotiations between officials from the government and maize millers, a deal has been reached that will see the government subsidize maize flour with a 2 kilo packet, now retailing at 100 shillings. President Uhuru Kenyatta said the measures was part of the subsidy program that primarily covers the supply and distribution of maize flour across the country.
Maize flour shall retail across the entire territory of the Republic of Kenya at the price of Kenya shillings 100, down from Kenya shillings 205 for a 2 kg packet until otherwise directed.
In addition to the 105 shillings subsidy for every 2 kilo packet of maize flour, the government has indefinitely suspended the railway development levy and import declaration fee on all imported maize.
The railway development levy on all imported maize shall stand suspended. Number 2, the import declaration fee, IDF, on all imported maize is also hereby suspended.
President Kenyatta decried the hiking of maize flour prices during the election year, accusing businesses and politicians, and pledged the government's resolve to address it.
If one of them acts unethically by hoarding products and the other benefits by politicizing this irresponsibility, but in the meantime, who is suffering from this mischief? If the politician gets his votes out of this mischief, if the miller makes their profit, what does the mwananchi, who is the most important player in all of this, get?
Early this month, the government suspended KEFIS and KBC testing fee, inspection fee and permit fee on imported maize and raw materials for animal feeds for a period of 4 months. In addition, President Kenyatta said the government has also subsidized fuel, reduced cooking gas prices and electricity. This is the 5th economic stimulus program that has been rolled out under President Uhuru Kenyatta's regime. And the food subsidy program is expected to ensure that the price of unga remains lower for the next few months. Caroline Jenga for Primetime Edition.
Now, still staying with that particular news, the announcement by the government to reduce the price of maize flour by more than half has been received with mixed reactions, while some of those who spoke to KBC Channel 1 termed the decision as a welcome relief to the high cost of living. Others read politics in the move that comes days to the general election. Regina Manyara now samples some of the views.
Kwanza tuseme tu unga ni staple food ya Wakenya, ndio chakula ambayo inakuliwa zaidi Kenya. Kwa hivyo bali na mambo ambayo inaongelewa, unga ndio inatakikana iwe rahisi kwa bei na bei nafuu. So sisi tunataka tujue kama hii unga kabisa ni siasa.
Kuteremsha unga ni jambo mzuri, lakini lisikuwe la kutumiwa kwa siasa, kwa sababu kuna mzaha yenye tunaona wanasiasa wengine wanatumia hiyo kujipigia debe. Watu wanaumia njaa, na ukweli ni kwamba watu wanataka chakula ipungue.
Wakati wa siasa ikifika mnatupunguzia unga, ikifika siasa ikiisha mnaanza kuongezea vitu. Sisi hatuelewi tunaishi Kenya gani. Tunaomba serikali ituonee huruma, sisi kama wakaaji wa Nakuru, itupunguzie kila kitu.
Ukienda kwa maduka saizi baada hakuna mwenye amekubali. Ukienda kwa hoteli ugali ndio inakatwa kidogo ati unga haijateremka.
Kwa ajili kama tuamini, tunaona hiyo ni ujanja tu wa kura. Kura sikwishe, watudanganye ati unga ijafika. Kitambo kura sikwishe, inarudi tu vile imekuwa.
Lakini wananchi wetu wa kawaida wenye biashara hawawezi punguza unga. Kama jana mimi nilisikiza kuanzia tarehe 18 unga imepunguzwa ni 100. Nilipoenda kwa supermarket ninaambiwa unga ni 220.
Kwanza wakaaji wa Mombasa, kidogo ilikuwa karibu tuende story ya posho mill. Karibu turudi ile mambo ya kitambo kupeleka unga na mahindi zikasiagwe. Lakini sasa hizi tunafurahi serikali kuu imefanya mambo yake na unga iko poa sasa hizi. Kila kitu iko sawa.
Nataka kuona serikali inahakikisha kuwa ina stabilize bei za bidhaa za vyakula, hususan za vyakula. Kwa sababu bidhaa nyingine zinakuwa bei zao ziko juu mpaka vitu unashindwa kununua.
Hiyo banza nimesaputilia mbali kabisa, sina imani na hilo. Lazima mimi najua unga ni shilingi 200. Na si unga tu, hata mafuta auto yamepanda bei. Tulikuwa tumezoea 100, sasa ni shilingi 360. Sasa kutoka shilingi 360 uniambie utanunua 150, pia hapo yani kuna kitu ambapo nataka kunikumbaza akili, sababu wewe unaangalia election iko karibu, ndio mimi nichezea akili zangu.
Kusema ukweli, hiyo bei ya unga ambayo imesemekana imetoka 210 mpaka 100, hiyo tuisikia kwa msemo tu.
Na mambo ya kupunguza bei ya unga walisema ni vizuri, walisema wamepunguza, lakini baada haijapunguzwa.
Why is it that the pricing of unga is being lowered when it is almost election?
Na bei ya mafuta. Tunaomba kabisa serikali, national government wakuwe very serious kwa hiyo side, kwa sababu wanatuambia kuwa bei ya unga imereduce, lakini ukienda kuangalia bado reduce, bado wanaendelea kuongeza.
Wengi tulikuwa tunaumia. Hakuna wakati Kenya hii unga imefika shilingi 200. Kwa hivyo wengi walikuwa wanalala hata njaa. Ugali ndio muhimu. Na wakati huu si unga tu, wangeangalia mambo ya mafuta.
Nasi tunashukuru. Na kama ameamua tusaidie, serikali atuchukulie hiyo gharama ili wale producers wakubali watuuzie unga bei ya chini, tutashukuru, kwa sababu ugali ndio main dish.
Isipokuwa sasa unajua, hata kama ingawa alitangaza, lakini kulikuwa na watu wameshazi stock na huenda bei yenye walichukulia ikawa juu. Sasa nao pia hawezi wakakubali kuirudisha chini.
So labda leo vile rais amesema ndio tutaona vile itakuwa, lakini sasa ukiangalia ile stock tuko nayo kwa sasa ni ile stock tulikuwa tumechukulia na ile bei ya juu.
All right, news that has evidently elicited mixed reactions, and of course we are going to stay on top of that for you as we sample what Kenyans and leaders alike are going to be saying about this move. Now, on to matters politics. Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party presidential candidate Raila Odinga says he will effectively address the perennial water shortage in Turkana County if elected president. Raila says an Azimio administration will build a mega dam and utilize aquifers in the region to meet the demand. The Azimio flag bearer has also pledged to address security gaps in Turkana and neighboring counties.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party leader Raila Odinga took his presidential campaigns to Turkana County, promising to address issues bedeviling the region, among them security and water scarcity.
Watu wa hapa Turkana East, jambo kubwa ambayo ni jenga ni kwamba kuna insecurity, watu wetu wanakufa kila wakati. Hata jana watu waliuliwa, juzi watu waliuliwa. Sisi tunataka ukichukua serikali, tafadhali jaribu leta amani katika mipaka yetu na majirani marafiki zetu kutoka Kenya.
Tuko na adui wanne wakubwa kama wa Kenya. Moja ni ugonjwa, pili ni ujinga, tatu ni umaskini, nne ni ufisadi. Shida yenu yote ambayo mnasema hapo iko hapo.
Odinga pledged that if elected, his administration will build a mega dam and put in proper use aquifers in the region.
Lakini chini hapa yuko ziwa ingine kubwa hata kushinda hii hapa. Tutapiga chimba hiyo maji, tutatoa hapa juu ili wananchi waweze kutumia hiyo maji. Alafu wale wafugaji wako na ng'ombe na mbuzi na kondoo, wako na shida sana wakati wa ukame, zingine zinakufa kwa sababu hakuna mbuga ya kulisha ng'ombe, hakuna maji na kadhalika. Sasa sisi tunaleta mpango inaitwa bima ya mfugo, livestock insurance.
Raila said a railway line would be extended to Turkana County as a strategy to open up the marginalized region.
Kutoka kule Lamu tunajenga bandari tayari imeshajengwa huko. Tutajenga reli ya gari ya moshi kutoka kule inapitia hapa Turkana ikielekea huko Juba. Ikielekea Juba, Sudan Kusini.
The Azimio Brigade pledged to put in place a social protection program to safeguard the welfare of the residents. Raila Odinga is expected to take the Azimio la Umoja campaigns to West Pokot, Elgeyo Marakwet and Baringo counties as he drums up support for his presidential bid. Geshoki Washira, Prime Edition.
Thank you, Washira, for that report. Now, Deputy President William Ruto wants public servants to keep off succession politics. Ruto, who spoke during campaigns in Makueni and Taita Taveta counties, warned that public administrators involved in campaigns are defying their oath of office.
During campaign stopovers in Makueni County and parts of Taita Taveta County, the Deputy President took issue with public servants whom he claims are involved in State House succession race.
You are servants of the people of Kenya. You are protected by the Constitution. You are protected by the law to serve all Kenyans equally.
Wameanza kushurutisha machifu wetu, madio wetu. Eti chief anaitwa kwa mkutano.
Hawa watu wanaanza kutumia chiefs. Wanaambia chiefs, county commissioner kujeni, atitafanya security, atitisheni huyu mzee kura.
Ruto also wants the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, to cite candidates using public servants in the campaigns for electoral offences and malpractices.
To all our chiefs across the country, do not accept to be forced into doing things that are against the law and against the Constitution. It is your business to organize the people of Kenya, their security and their issues. You are servants of the people of Kenya, irrespective of whatever political party they belong to.
The Deputy President and the Kenya Kwanza leaders claim they are confident that the team will form the next government, propping up the bottom-up economic model as an economic transformation catalyst.
Tumesema tutachukua pesa ya serikali, tununue shamba ekari 1,000,000, tuwapatie wale watu wote bado wanaishi kama maskota katika pwani hii.
With the 3 counties that form Ukambani region and the 6 that form the coast having a combined number of voters at 3.65 million, the Deputy President seeks to change the tide against Raila Odinga, who appears to be the favourite in the 2 regions, and become the frontrunner 19 days to the next general election. John Jacob Curia, Prime Edition.
All right, and that report brings us to our first break. But on the other side, of course, we are going to be looking into more that has been happening in the world of politics. Ruben Kigame seems like his presidential bid is still marred with a lot of legal issues. IEBC has appealed against the decision by the High Court to have him included in the list of those vying in the August polls. We'll be giving you more details about this and more when we come back. Do stay with us.
Specifically here in Hola and Bura, we intend to move the intake from where we are pumping water at the moment to the Bura Bridge, where we will get the water on gravity to Hola. We intend to move the intake from where it is now for Bura to a place called Korakora, which is about 67 kilometers from where we are, in order to get water through gravity to the farms. That will assist in 2 ways. It will make sure that we reduce the costs of getting water to the farms, and secondly, we will expand more acreage.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Are you an aspiring candidate in the upcoming general elections? Do you want your agenda and manifesto to reach your voters effectively? At KBC, we have the most comprehensive and credible online platform that has profiles of all prospective candidates. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants and let Kenyans know more about you, your past achievements, your manifesto, and your development agenda once you get elected to office. What's more, the website is easy to navigate. We will create your profile, post pictures and short videos with your campaign messages at affordable hosting fees. Log on to www.kbc.co.ke/2022 aspirants today and establish your brand authority as we lead towards the forthcoming general elections.
We shall legalize weed.
Professor George Luchiri Wajakoya of the Roots Party.
Semeni Babakea. Babakea.
Raila Amolo Odinga of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Party.
Unajua mimi sina pesa ya serikali ama ya kashfa.
David Mwaure Wahiga of the Agano Party. And
hakuna kura ya hasla mtaiba.
William Samoei Ruto of the Kenya Kwanza Alliance. Presidential Debate 2022. Do not adjust your sets.
Welcome back. Now, a meeting between the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission with political candidates was disrupted after hundreds of rowdy youth stormed the Kisii Agricultural Training Center. This was the 4th demonstration against the IEBC after similar incidents were witnessed in Bomachoge Chache, Nyaribari Chache and Bobasi constituencies.
The youth who stormed Kisii Agricultural Training Center demanded the transfer of the Area Independent Election Boundaries Commission returning officer, whom they accused of holding clandestine meetings with a section of candidates with an intention of interfering with the outcome of the upcoming election.
I can't understand why this should happen and why this should be allowed in a civilized society. This is completely unbecoming, and I want to castigate it in the strongest possible terms. I would want to state that for the IEBC, they should ensure that these elections are conducted freely and fairly.
Naomba IEBC isipofanya ile inastahili kufanya, this candidate is disqualified, or he stops the insecurity that has now come here, where there are thousands and thousands of youths marauding around, beating women senselessly. Juzi mliona vile kina mama walichapwa pale kwa Kisii Stadium.
Speaking at Rongo University, where she donated construction machines, Migori County Woman Representative Hopeful Zilfa Odlin Ochuotho said proper education for the girls, access to water and health will be top on her agenda if elected. Ochuotho will face off with 5 candidates in the August 9th general election.
There are a lot of challenges we faced outside there. More so when we go outside there, the people who got the certificates, they don't treat us as the candidate. But we thank the IEBC for giving us the chance also to vie as the independent candidates.
Elsewhere, Laikipia na Kenya gubernatorial candidate Gitonga Kabugi has shelved his ambitions to support the incumbent Nderitu Mureithi, who is seeking re-election on a Jubilee ticket.
Over the last few days, we have carried out extensive discussions with our party leader and the entire leadership of the Azimio La Umoja coalition. These discussions have been geared towards the need to form a formidable Azimio front that will guarantee securing victory both at the presidential and at the county level in the forthcoming general elections.
Kabugi made the announcement in Nanyuki after a consultative meeting with his supporters.
Our candidate for the position of the governor has agreed to cede ground so that we don't split the vote that's Azimio votes in Laikipia.
Now, the government has heightened security in 2 coastal regions ahead of next month's polls. Speaking when he opened the new anti-terrorism police unit in Mombasa, Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i said intelligence reports had established that some politicians in the 2 regions at the coast are planning to facilitate small groups to engage in crime.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i says a regional security meeting has resolved to send more security personnel to beef up security in the region. Matiang'i warned that those found culpable of incitement will be dealt with in accordance with the law.
The IG and I have already made the decisions on those additional resources and where we are going to place them. So we are ready to proceed, and people, of course, should have nothing to worry about. Go about your activities peacefully, obey the law, choose leaders you desire, exercise your democratic right, and thank God you live in a democratic, free and peaceful country.
He at the same time revealed that plans are at an advanced stage to set up a court at the new anti-terrorism police unit facility in Mombasa so as to expeditiously deal with terrorism cases.
While we hold terrorists in these facilities, we are also able to process them through the justice chain here. That keeps the population out there safer, gives us an opportunity to expeditiously deal with their challenges, and also ensure that cases involving terror and terrorist activities do not linger around in our justice system. We live in a globalized environment. Trouble somewhere is trouble everywhere, and therefore we are gratified that our partners are willing to work with us to address this challenge of terrorism.
He said 2 more units will be opened in the eastern and western parts of the country. British High Commissioner to Kenya Jane Marriott said Kenya is the UK's security umbilical cord in East Africa.
To help, and this aspect will help strengthen counter-terrorism operations on the Kenyan coast.
It's another important milestone in our security partnership and our shared mission to defeat terrorism. Now, this station is the first coastal headquarters for the ATPU. It will provide a dedicated space for officers to work on CT cases and support effective and human rights compliant CT investigations. It will allow the public to have direct access to the ATPU, creating more awareness about the excellent work that the ATPU do and strengthening their relationship with the local community.
The first coastal ATPU facility has been constructed in a joint partnership between UK and the Kenyan government at a cost of Kenya shillings 81 million. Michael Mondiga for Prime Edition, Mombasa County.
Now to our weekly segment, Cinemas and Theatre. It is a story of how elephants who returned to the area their predecessors called home decades ago but left to escape from poachers. All this captured on a documentary that was screened to an enthusiastic audience at the Alliance Francaise Tuesday night. On our Cinemas and Theatre segment tonight, we focus on the elephants of Selenkei.
The documentary The Elephants of Selenkei is based on an incident way back in 1974 at an area known as Selenkei, which today falls under Kajiado County.
I read this fantastic story about elephants returning to the Selenkei Conservancy 20 years. We had been dealing with game watchers, safaris and Porini camps before. So I got in touch with them and asked them, is this true? And they said, yeah, it's very true that after 20 years, they brought back the elephants to Selenkei Conservancy.
We tend to ignore the animals. Sometimes they don't exist because of human conflict. Let's appreciate that we have wildlife that we can protect.
Porini Mogalwan, mkuje mfungue maji ondofu wamejaa kwa langi.
Maja, tunakuja kukurudisha generator. The 55-minute documentary had its up and down during its production, but how was it like putting it together?
So people are using massive lens so that they can get to the elephants, because the more you go closer, you might agitate them, you might get them, agitated. So you want to be as far as possible, but also with the most expensive, okay, not really expensive, but the best lenses to bring the elephants to you. And now it's the job of the sound designer to bring this flat sort of moving picture into life by giving these elephants footsteps, giving these elephants sounds, and just bringing the ambience into life.
People take an initiative. We can right the wrongs we've done in terms of environmental degradation, in terms of habitat loss. And that's exactly what Game Watchers and Selenkei Conservancy have done.
I hope that nationally, internationally, and even within the continent, we start realizing what unique stories Africa has, and, our own people tell these stories before others.
Today, along with the elephants, a rich variety of wildlife called Selenkei Conservancy home.
Faisal Malik, the director, noted that the documentary has a conservation angle to it.
From proceeds of the sales, we're giving back to the Selenkei Conservancy that runs the Adopt an Acre program, whereby they need $35 an acre per year to keep the conservancy open. So besides the documentary, we have a beautiful coffee table book celebrating the elephants of Selenkei that we will be selling.
The documentary is embracing a unique distribution method.
Basically what happens is you take your smartphone, point it to an image in the book, and it instantly plays a video. So that's again a form of distribution, of your content, showing your content on a different platform besides just screen.
As an age-old African proverb states, return to old watering holes for more than water.
We really never used to appreciate things like sound design, color grading, recording Foley. These are things that we have embraced now. I can say we still have a journey to go, but we've really been doing well over the years.
Let's come up let's do our own stories. Let's not wait for people from outside to come and do our story.
Having created this safe haven for wildlife and habitat, the elephants now are in plenty and freely roaming the 14,000 acres leased from the Eselenke Group Ranch. Jacqueline Masharia for Cinemas and Theatre.
Great reporting there. Now, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has appealed against the decision of the High Court that the electoral body should clear independent presidential aspirant Reuben Kigame to vie for presidency on August 9th. According to a ruling made by Justice Mrima 2 days ago, the IEBC's Dispute Resolution Committee violated Kigame's right under the Persons with a Disability Act.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission says that the process of including independent presidential aspirant Reuben Kigame's name in the presidential ballot paper requires a minimum of 30 days. The IEBC is expected to include fresh gazettement of the presidential candidates, inclusion of new candidate and his running mate on ballot paper, will require a reprogramming of the candidate registration management system for registration and ballot proofing, reprogramming of results transmission system, as well as KIMS kits in all 47 counties and diaspora, redesigning of printing template together with reprinting, repackaging and rebooking, which IEBC says the warehouse has confirmed it is time constrained. Cost modalities in rescheduling freight stands at 971 million shillings. IEBC says the monies to undertake this process are not in the Commission's election budget, the time limit notwithstanding. IEBC, which has appealed against the decision of the High Court issued on July 18, 2022, says it banks its hope on the Court of Appeal, which has issued directions, and that the matter will be heard on Thursday. Kigame was blocked from the race on account of insufficient number of supporters' signatures. However, in its decision, the High Court was of the view that Kigame demonstrated exemplary effort in complying with the requirements and that the list of supporters he presented should suffice. Kamche Menza for Prime Edition.
Finally, the wait is over. The Sundowner Sunset date is back. Saturday, 30th July 2022. The Grand Collabo, the gorgeous Catherine Donye and the wicked weekend man John Obongo Jr. together on one stage for the first time.
Meanwhile, some country.
Plus, Sir Elvis performing your favorite country hits live. All roads lead to the park in Kitengela, the land of Nyama Choma, for music, dance, food, drink, and so much fun. The Sundowner Sunset date, the Grand Collabo. Mark the date, Saturday, 30th July 2022. Tickets cost 500 shillings at the gate.
Genova, talk to me, please. Genova, please talk to me. I'm Furna from Green Hill. Are you Genova's lover from the mortal world?
Your body has been damaged. You may not be fit to carry a baby.
No way. I must keep this baby.
Echo.
What?
都是假象。
Many thanks for keeping it Prime Edition. Time now to get the latest from the world of business. My name is Betty Kiptum. Now, the Australian government has partnered with Differently Talented Society of Kenya, DTSK, to impart artisan skills to 125 adults with autism to establish informal sector businesses. The program, that will also rope in families of the autistic individuals, seeks to bridge the employability for people with disabilities.
Surveys indicate that people with disabilities in Kenya only hold 5% of the available jobs. National Industrial Training Authority has partnered with Differently Talented Society of Kenya to empower young persons with disabilities and their caregivers with artisan skills that promote their active participation in open employment. The project is targeting 125 autistic adults and their families who will gain entrepreneurship skills and support needed to establish micro-enterprises aligned to the strengths and interests of the young autistic adults. Consequently, more young autistic adults will participate in the labor markets, promoting social inclusion and economic resilience during and post the pandemic.
This is a special program that targets that special beneficiaries who are with us here today to benefit from a donation and a support amounting to about $50,000, about 5 million Kenya shillings. We are targeting a total of 125 beneficiaries in the entire program.
So we're always keen to get project applications that involve the disability sector. So the reason we supported this particular initiative is, one, because it's targeting disability empowerment. It's focused on autism, which is a particularly challenging area that needs support.
The government says the program will eradicate barriers facing persons with disabilities in the employment sector.
As a ministry responsible for labor, our mandate is to promote decent work, skills development, sustainable job creation, and fair labor practices. It is for this reason that we advocate for inclusive and sustainable economic growth that offers employment and decent work for all, hence reducing inequalities.
Institutions continue to come together to empower people with disabilities to increase their employability. For Prime Edition, I am Teresa Mutai.
Thank you, Teresa Mutai, for that report. Quite an interesting initiative there. Now, the government is urging corporates to contribute more towards helping small businesses attain sustainability by funding them. Industrialization and Trade Chief Administrative Secretary David Osianyi says most small businesses have impactful, sustainable and unique business models, but lack funding partners to achieve their sustainable business goals.
Data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics indicates that about 400,000 micro, small and medium-sized enterprises do not celebrate their second birthday, and that very few small businesses celebrate their fifth birthday. This is mainly attributed to unstable funding.
Well, I suppose we are in a challenging world. We look at, of course, the issues around how can we support SMEs more? What are those breaks we can get from supporting businesses and ensure that they continue to grow from a banking sector point of view? I think that's key. How do we spare the growth of SMEs to be able to allow them to employ more people and bring back those people who were retrenched during COVID back into the employment and income generating capability?
Osianyi challenged established corporates to fund micro, small and medium-sized enterprises as long as they have an impactful business model.
Increasingly, the world is looking at corporates as tools for impact, not just tools for profit and self-seeking. All responsible corporates are trying to see how is it that they are able to have impact. And I have singled out Stanbic as one of the corporates that has had tremendous impact on the Kenyan society. Impact by their grants, impact by their affordable credit, impact by their ability to reach out to multi-sectoral SMEs.
It has emerged that some financial service providers are jittery when it comes to lending to small businesses.
We are speaking with them from a trade and enterprise perspective to be able to be a little more alert to this, this dynamics we are requesting them to be a bit more keen in supporting SMEs and truly supporting SMEs.
Despite the challenges, the government is challenging small businesses to take advantage of support frameworks and structures, offering tailored solutions through partnerships with state agencies such as Kenya Industrial Research and Development Institute KIRDI, Kenya Industrial Estates, and the Kenya Bureau of Standards KEBS. Alanauko, Prime Edition.
And coffee prices at the Nairobi Coffee Exchange increased for the second time in a row since the auction reopened last week after a one-month break. Data from the exchange shows a 50-kilogram bag is selling at an average of 33,000 shillings from 32,000 shillings last week, driven by high demand for the beans by processors who are currently restocking after the auction reopened.
Coffee farmers will continue earning good prices for their beans after coffee prices at the Nairobi Coffee Exchange increased by 5% in the latest auction. Data from the NCE indicate that the AA grade fetched the highest prices with 1,163 bags of the grade offered. The average price for the AA coffee was quoted at 39,000 shillings, fetching 57.4 million shillings, representing a 5.4% increase from last week's auction. SB coffee fetched the lowest price at the auction, with a 50 kg bag retailing at 10,000 shillings, with only 83 bags traded on the floor of the NCE. Cumulatively, 10,565 bags were offered at the auction by close of business yesterday, trading at an average of 33,000 shillings per 50 kg bag, netting farmers 434 million shillings. The latest surge in coffee prices at the auction is a result of high demand from roasters who are restocking after the reopening of the auction last week after a one-month recess. The increase in prices comes just days after coffee producers warned of a dip in yields this year due to the high cost of production that is beyond the reach of many coffee farmers. According to the chair of the Kenya Coffee Producers Association, Peter Gikonyo, the high cost of farm inputs has seen production of a kilo of cherry increasing from 39 shillings to 100 shillings, further eating into farmers' earnings.
And transporters are being urged to comply with the new code of conduct formulated by the Truckers Association of Kenya and the Kenya National Highway Authority to ensure seamless operation of truckers, especially at way bridges. Truckers Association of Kenya Secretary General Kennedy Karisa says they have rolled out training for truck owners and drivers in efforts to enhance compliance with laid down regulations.
Cargo trucks' allowable axle limits in Kenya are governed by the type of vehicle and its axle configuration. The sum total axle weight allowed for cargo ferrying vehicles stands at 50 tons, with a maximum tow weight of the truck or trailer at 22 tons, bringing the allowable payload to 28 tons. The Truckers Association of Kenya is urging members of truck transport SACCOs to adhere to the stipulated axle weight limits or risk suspension from the SACCOs.
Because we have a mechanism. We have rules of engagement. If you go against the code of conduct, then we throw you out of the association.
Karisa has advised transporters to ensure the weight of their vehicles are within the prescribed gross vehicle weight as per the axle configuration. The Kenya National Highways Authority has been pursuing self-regulation in collaboration with transportation SACCOs to ensure full compliance.
Compliance with axle load regulations, number one. If a transporter calls me and tells me that he's overloaded by over 10 tons, what is there to discuss? Pay the fine.
Hibak Said for Prime Edition.
Now, away from business matters, President Uhuru Kenyatta has made 16 new changes in the Kenya Defence Forces. The changes, which take effect immediately, include promotions and appointments as advised by the Defence Council. Among those promoted is the President's aide-de-camp, Colonel Timothy Stelu Lekolol.
Major General Peter Mbogo Njiru has been appointed to Lieutenant General and appointed Commander Kenya Army. Mbogo replaces Lieutenant General Walter Koipaton, who retires after the completion of 4 years' tour of duty. The President has also promoted Brigadier David Kimayo Tarus to a Major General, and he'll be in charge of the Western Command. Brigadier Juma Shi Munyikal has been promoted to the position of Major General, commanding the eastern region. In the new changes, Brigadier Bernard Waliaula has been promoted to a Major General and appointed Director of Defense National Security and Industries under the Kenya Air Force. Colonels Mohamed Salah, Mohamed Dahir, Justino Mutisia are among those who are promoted to brigadier position and assigned various capacities within the military. Under the Kenya Navy, the President has appointed Colonel John Wekesa to a brigadier position and appointed him Chief of Welfare and Compensation at the Defense Headquarters. Colonel Timothy Lekolol is now a brigadier and remains aide-de-camp to the President. Colonel Zipora Kalundu Kioko has been promoted to a brigadier position and appointed Chief of Strategic and Communication at the Defense Headquarters. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mongai.
The World Athletics Championships in Oregon is already underway. Don't miss a single glorious moment live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1.
Thank you for keeping it Prime Edition. Let's now delve into sports matters. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, the preparations for the 2022 Cadets and Junior Africa Judo Championships are complete, with more than 20 countries having already arrived for the continental event set to be held from tomorrow to Sunday at the Kasarani Indoor Arena. The African Judo Union held a referee and coaches seminar today to educate referees and coaches on the new set of regulations that have been introduced by the International Judo Federation.
Just about 20 referees who will take charge of matches at the Cadets and Juniors Africa Judo Championship were involved in a day-long seminar in Nairobi ahead of the championship, which begins tomorrow at the Kasarani Indoor Arena. The educators of the seminar from Egypt and Senegal based their lessons on a new set of rules introduced by the international body and which keep on changing after every Olympic cycle.
We don't have to change the rules because each Olympic cycle we have to change something, but it's not the time to change the rules, but it's the time to clarify the rules. You understand? It's very important. Now we are going for the next Olympic game to 2024. We have to clarify some point every time because the athletes have to, the athletes know the rules, but you have to go through the rules sometime. But each competition, before we start the competition, we have to clarify for the coaches and referees.
The seminar is one of the many that will be held to prepare referees to take charge of all international competitions until the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris, and came just a day to the Cadets and Junior event set to begin tomorrow at the Kasarani Indoor Arena, with most competing countries having already arrived. Mozambique, Burundi, Comoros, Angola, Zimbabwe, Ivory Coast, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Cameroon and Morocco were among the countries that arrived in the country last night, just hours after the arrival of Egypt and South Africa, who were the first two teams to land in Kenya.
I know this period for
qualification to our next Olympic Games is very short, because we have all the world have COVID-19 and something like that. But I hope we have a good success and a good result for athletes in Africa in next Olympic Games 2024 in Paris.
Preparations at the Kasarani Indoor Arena are almost complete, with the final touches being done to ensure a conducive atmosphere for both players and fans, who will be allowed into the arena without charges.
What we are looking for is we are using this championship to gauge ourselves in terms of preparation to Paris 2024. As you know, this is a young team that's under 20, and the cadets. This is where we want to generate our athletes probables to the Paris 2024.
The Kenyan team, which boasts of the biggest number of players with 48, exudes confidence of performing better in the championship as the country hosts the first major judo tournament ever.
Thank you, Buckley, for that report. Moving on, the Kenya lawn ball team to the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham is aiming for progression past the knockout stages, having competed in the game since 1998 and never made it to the knockout stage. The team of 4 was selected in March and joined residential training camp on the 15th of June. Training has been at different venues across the country, including Nairobi Club, Karen Country Club and the Moon Country Club in Njoro. With no international competitions, the organizers of the Commonwealth Games are using old data from the 2018 Gold Coast Commonwealth Games. In the 2018 Commonwealth Games, Eunice Mbugua finished third in her pool and missed out on the quarters by a very small margin.
We know who are playing in the pools, so gentlemen will be pooled with Australia and South Africa. Ladies will also have their opponents. Of course, the seeding is done based on previous performance.
I'm prepared, though the weather at least is a bit comfortable for us to practice during the day. So yes, I'm prepared.
Nimejitayarisha vyema kwa hii michezo kutoka hii mwezi mzima yote tumekuwa tukifanya practice, so I'm ready, niko tayari.
Had for you, but don't forget tomorrow morning, Kenya, we will be hoping that we will get our second gold medal tomorrow when Serfine Chespol lines up for the women's 3,000 meters steeplechase. We will definitely bring that to you because KBC Channel 1 is airing the World Athletics Championship live from Oregon. That's all from me. My name is Karen Kibet, but my colleague Serfine Achieng is on the other side of the studio. Serfine.
Karen, thank you for that. And Team Kenya has indeed made us proud. Good thing, though, when they come back home, they're coming home to cheap ugali. Betty, this news must have made you happy tonight.
Well, cheap ugali indeed. I mean, Kenyans have been suffering with 230 to 50 for some brands of ugali, but now at 100 shillings. The question really is just how sustainable are these subsidies the government is giving, from fuel to the price of unga and many other things. How sustainable are they, and will the next government continue with these subsidies? That remains to be seen.
Right. Whether it is sustainable or not, some people already reading politics into it, whether that is the case or not. At least the basic fact is that it's going to be such a relief for many Kenyans who have really struggled with this for quite a long time. All right. So that's how we wrap it up right here on Prime Edition. My name is Serfine Achieng Oma. Have a lovely night.
My name is Betty Kiptum from the Business Desk. Do enjoy the rest of your night.
Ali, I heard you escaped from the Al-Shabaab. How did you end up there?
Well, a friend of mine, Juma, promised me that I could get a good job. Next thing I knew, I was apparently recruited to fight for Al-Shabaab, something I was not prepared for.